Welcome along to the seventh round of the RFC Division 2 Championship. I am, of course, Worthless Eagle hosting you again for this great and very dull day in Belgium. As we just reset the graphics, make sure they're all good, make sure there's no players, and it looks like we are okay. Cool. Right, I've sadly missed a couple minutes, so I've missed whoever was on the first lap. I believe it's going to be Marley, who set the first lap a couple times last time out in Britain. Right, so we are just about 5 minutes into, well, about 3 minutes into this session, so we didn't miss too much. And after this race, we will officially be at the midpoint of the season. How quickly that's gone. And then we've just got one more week, and then we stop for Christmas, which is going to be a fun time for everyone, I'm sure. And 2 weeks of transfer news. Marley goes a little bit wide there at Puon. Lucky not to invalidate. As I was hovering over it. It was really annoying. As we watch the Alpine, who's been doing very well over the past couple of races. Always been mentioning Marley. Doing. I mean, I don't really know if he's actually doing very well, but it's been mentioned quite a lot. So that's the important thing. We of course have a championship battle going on between Finlay Smith and Poulet, both of which are here today, which is very good. I'm actually going to quickly check to see. They've been getting around mid-table, I can't lie, in quali. Let's look at the races. Last two races, Marley has DNF'd. So, right, never mind. Going through a bit of a rough patch, but they're coming across the line now to set the first lap of the session. It goes top in these inters conditions. We will look at a weather forecast, as it looks like in the next about 10 minutes we're going to go to overcast, and then 5 minutes after that we'll be at light cloud, and the rain will stop. So these guys going out at the moment don't really need to be going out on the what's it? Nice. On the Inters tyres, as Cure now rounds the final corner and crosses the line, heads the fastest lap by about 4 tenths. Oh, sorry, dying. Oh, I just had dinner, like the second that I finished here. So I started here. Sorry, so a bit. His teammate matches him in sector 2. Froome ahead of him on a very good lap, of course. Froome, what am I on about? Jarvis Coyd ahead of him, sorry. As Napolitano there goes top of the table. We'll get a lot of lap times come through now as the McLaren starts his lap. I believe that's Ben. And then Jarvis Coyd comes across the line. Night Owl there goes top. Jarvis Coyd crosses the line. He goes top by over a second. That is very good time from him, the quali merchant himself, as Froome crosses the line and heads to P7 with Finlay Smith down up into P2. Very, very good. As I don't actually know who this guy is, so we're going to have to find out. That's Sebastian Wagner, mate. How do I not know who Wagner is? The driver who moved up from Division 3 after dominating quite a bit. We will quickly add him to the thing. So let's give me a second. I need to try and remember that name, to be honest. How could I forget? How could I forget him? I love this part of the stream, you know, it's just... Right, see if that's fixed it. Believe we got it right. Yeah, nice one. Cool. We don't need that anymore. Okay, so Wagner making his debut today for Ferrari, as we watch on with Ben, who is currently, well, on a purple sector 2. Apparently has no front wing, which is great. Will Lewis with a great lap there. Goes up into P3. Charlotte Perkins as well, while we were trying to sort stream, matches Jarvis Coyd. So she's shown a lot of pace in these inters conditions. Doing very well in the quali, which in Austria. As Ben crosses the line, goes up into P3. But yeah, very interesting session so far. I'm very surprised that we're seeing as many laps as we are, to be honest, as the conditions constantly improve. As Froome crosses the line there, goes fastest. Vortex will be next across the line. We'll see what lap time he can do. He's done purple sector 1, purple sector 2, crosses the line and hits the fastest lap there. So you can tell the conditions, I mean, if we just look at it, it's looking dry. So I'm not really sure why these guys are still setting Inter's laps. But hey, if they want to do that, that's fine. I'm not liking the fact that we've got bugs on like pretty much every single car. Like half the cars just do not have a front wing, which is not very fun. Jarvis Coyd is setting another lap. He does not need to. What is he doing? Uh, these guys, they're just weird. As Van der Sant now coming round the final couple corners to finish his first lap of the session. As it very much does look bone dry now. As he goes up into P2, 6 tenths behind. What's that? Sorry, Vortex. As Charlotte there crosses the line, I believe, to start another lap. Yep, nice one, mate. As a couple people on outlaps, really not many people actually on laps. I'm trying to figure out what car that was just coming into the pits there. As Cure there slides round the final or turn, what was that, 18? I'm not very good with corner names around here. As Cure goes up into P2, so Racing Bull's looking very good at the moment. But of course, I mean, they're up here. Everyone's going to pit, and we're all going to go back onto some normal tyres, some dries soon. So basically, these Inters laps mean absolutely nothing. They're just taking the piss. Jarvis Coyd there goes 2 seconds faster. I mean, the conditions are fully dry now. As fastest sector 1 goes to Andrew in the Sauber. The conditions are just falling heavy as Wagner comes round the final corner. He was really good every single pole in the Div 3 race he does. Comes across the line and matches his, well, he's about 3 tenths down on his teammate, which is a very, very good lap. Charlotte is now coming into sector 3, and she doesn't. I think she does call herself a little bit of a wet weather merchant. We saw it in Austria, so we saw it in the British in the Britain race as well. When it was raining there, she picked up speed and bagged another good podium for herself. So she's looking on pace, and of course, purple sector 2 as the conditions fall. Get better. She is improving as well. And I wonder when the first person we see who's on the actual slicks comes across the line. As she heads top of the table. And now Poulet on a lap as well on the Inters. Nice one, please. Can we lock in? As he gets fastest in sector 2. 5.1 seconds ahead of, was that Van der Heide, I believe it is. As, who's that, sorry, that's just improved. I think that was Andrew there, goes up into P4 in the Sauber. As Poulet rounds through, fighting for the championship, lost so many points in Austria, clawed a little bit back in Britain, but now is still trying to chase as he goes a second faster than Charlotte. We are really seeing the pace now as Vortex is on the softs, and as you can see, he has just taken a Rouge and on flat, so it's fine. Now, fastest in sector 1, who is that? We will tune into him. Napolitano on the soft tyres. Of course, doesn't, load the front wing. There is now a helicopter going over my head, and it's very loud. As Napolitano started the season really well. The Haas team in general did start the season extremely well. And after the last couple races has really fallen back a little bit. Not been as dominant with, you had P7, P6, P7, P9 at the start of the season. It was looking really good for himself. And then just since, since Saudi, I believe, or Spain, sorry. It's really fallen off a little bit with just the 1 point finish. But maybe just unlucky. Of course, the Haas team were a bit unlucky with Adam Locke going like cruising down the wall in Saudi. So the Haas team in general aren't as good as they were at the start of the season, but I'm sure Napolitano will want to do something about that and bring back that form as we head ever closer to the mid-season break. As rounds the final corner, that is the first lap time we see on the slick tyres, and he goes top there with a 43.3. A lot of people now are going to start to, of course, come into the pits and fit the slick tyres. I see Ben is on the mediums. I'm hoping that whoever that is, it's Daniel Barker. We will tune into him as he's 16th at the moment. But yeah, you would hope that, well, you'd think that people would start to wait a little bit longer before they come out on the soft tyres, as they'd want to get a lap in right at the end of the session. As another fastest sector one, who's this one by? It's by Ben in the McLaren, and he's on the mediums, I believe. As Barker comes across the line, matches Napolitano, just can't quite go ahead there. As we'll go now to Ben in the McLaren on the medium tyres, going for a little different. The timing really isn't wanting to work today. As Ben rounds through, I'm hoping. Can you guys let me know if the like the game quality is too quiet? That'd be nice. Vortex, the other Haas will be here soon. He said he'll join mid quality, I believe. So, yep. Ben there can't quite beat Nico's for second sector. Nico coming back off of a P2 finish in Britain. We'll want to continue that form for Mercedes. A Mercedes team that I believe has been pretty consistent over all three divisions. So, on form at the moment, and of course his teammate is fighting in the championship fight, and so is this guy's teammate for today at least, as Ben goes up into P2, 6 tenths behind Nico. That is a great lap from Nico, but of course a lot of people are out on track, as we will try and I don't even know who to watch with, to be honest. I don't know. Froome is making his way into round turn one. I believe he'll be the next one to set a lap. A lot of people now, of course, on outlaps, as we've got just over 3 minutes left of the session. So we need to start to, well, everyone's starting to think about their final runs, as still quite a few people in the pits. You've got around, oh my god, Froome ducks in a slipstream with the McLaren, almost slams into the back of him. Of course, Froome last season was a McLaren driver, then made the switch to Sauber after he released his seat from McLaren, and made his move to Sauber this season and decided to leave them as well, and now finds himself reserving for Racing Bulls. So he's not even a main driver again. So yeah, just did not like the Sauber, I guess, which I'm not surprised. Not many people do. Froome rounds through Pouon, and now towards these corners I don't know, 12 and 13. I know a couple. I went here as well in 2016, bought Button merch, crashed lap 1, didn't see him, was so sad. Froome is 7 tenths down at the moment on Nico, but that would still put him around P3, so that's still, of course, a good lap, and he has enough time afterwards to do a cool down lap and then another push lap. So he does have time in hand for another lap as he rounds through the last couple corners, and is the fastest sector one. But for who? It's Sebastian Wagner, as Froome there heads up into P2. Made a bit of time in that second sector there, and that is a good lap from him. Next across the line, there, I don't even know, man. Honestly, it could be anyone. As Will Lewis there goes up into P3. I believe that Finlay Smith is on a lap here. A couple people come across the line. I have no idea like who's actually on laps at this point. Jarvis Coyd sets the fastest sector one, as Finlay Smith now heads into the final couple corners. Can he do a lap good enough? The track is, of course, ramping up as we head drier and drier, as Finlay Smith now tops the table by 7 tenths over his teammate. That is very close. The next one across the line will be Charlotte, who is in P10, mate. As she rounds the final corner towards the line, she starts a lap, fella. Nice one, mate. Oh. Luckily, her teammate is coming round on an outlap. This is actually unbearable. Van der Sante goes up into P4. And we're going to have to try and watch Sebastian Wagner. Sebastian Wagner is actually invalidated, so he won't. Will need to do another lap. Jarvis Coyd on a good lap here, as we have 30 seconds left of the session. So these people that are the Alpine there that's backing up in the final sector needs to get a little bit of a move on. As Jarvis Coyd rounds the final corner, our little quali merchant himself crosses the line, goes 3.5 tenths ahead, and we'll not have enough time to set another lap afterwards, but that is a pretty good lap. Ben deciding not to come out for the final run, so sitting with that medium lap. Poulet will be next one across the line. Also, Nico not coming back out, but he should be okay. As... Ugh. Thank you, senor. As Poulet fastest in Sector 2. Of course, fighting his championship rival, who is in second place at the moment. Of course, it's only Q1, so it doesn't really mean as much. But we'll still want to have a good enough lap to get through into the next part of qualifying. It's going to be definitely good enough as he goes up into P2 about a tenth and a half ahead of behind. Sorry, as is that a Williams? Is it? No, I don't even know. It is a Williams. Okay, that's that colour. As Charlotte now rounds the final corner, there is also a Sauber ahead as he jumps up. That's Night Owl up into P11. Charlotte Perkins crosses the line. She goes P6, so not as good as she was doing. As next across the line is going to be Daniel Barker as he crosses the line, and it's a slow lap from him. Vortex goes up into P10. Next is Napolitano. I believe Andrew crosses the line, goes up into P11. Napolitano goes up into P9. Wagner out, currently out. He goes up into P10. So now Night Owl is at risk. Cure on a slow lap. Marley is on a fast one. Van der Hyde has to back out of his lap. Skunker can only manage P16. Cure is out of the session. Hyde is out of the session. Can Marley get through into the next part of qualifying? Goes P9 and knocks Night Owl out there. And that is the end of the session. Cure on a slow lap, so will not improve. And we have our eliminated drivers from this session. So Night Owl getting pipped there at the final moment by just about, oh, that is close, 8 thousandths of a second. Losing out is crazy. Skunker there down in P17 for the Williams team. As Cure gets P18, and at the back there, not setting a final lap, is Van der Hyde. And that is the end of Q1 of the... probably the end of the mixed conditions as well. As can I actually leave this up at the bottom? Nah, it covers a little bit. Okay, so Jarvis Coyd, advantage to him at the moment as he takes the top spot of the first part of qualifying. And the rest of the grid kind of looking pretty good. Wagner will be worrying with a P11 at the moment in the Ferrari, but I'm sure that's nothing to worry about. Same with Vortex as well. And Daniel Barker there, only getting P15 with the slow lap at the end. So they'll all be kind of a little bit concerned. But yeah, I agree, Beatnik. He very much is. Last race, he was crazy. So, very strange. Apparently we're at turn 6, guys. Do you know that? Yeah. So pointless. Hide. This and next. That's crazy. Okay, so we are now starting Q2. Oh, nice one, mate. Anyone who's got ads, I'm so sorry. Well, I'm sorry to the guys that haven't got ads, to be honest. But we've now got 1 of 7 ads, and I'm having to watch them. The game is so far gone. Who is going to be the first one out on track? It is going to be Charlotte. That's what you pay for, guys. They've all got ads. If you are seeing me right now, you guys are stupid. No, I'm joking. Love you all. As we head into Q2 now. Currently, Jarvis Coyd, of course, looking like the favourite for pole position, as he so often is. He loves a front row start, but just can't quite figure out the end of the race. It is so unfortunate for him. Won the sprint race in Austria, though, like I said he would. Forrest just went 2-1 up. Fire, bro. Again, I'm deeply apologise for not being very entertaining at this current time. It's just the fact that I'm having to watch ads myself, which is criminal. But here we go. Nice. Andrew's computer is apparently shut down. I guess that's normal. Yeah, I guess that's just a normal thing to happen. As this track is the longest on the calendar, so it takes forever for an outlap to happen. Because how are we still watching Charlotte's outlap? Feel like we've been on this for about 10 years. As Charlotte was in P8 in the first part of qualifying, and finally, these guys have returned from their ad break. I've just had to deal with it too, guys, on my own phone. And I run the stream, guys. I mean, how is that fair? But Charlotte rounds the final corner to start the first lap of Q2. And will be wanting to continue her very good form as she makes her return to RFC. We're, of course, very happy. With currently 2 podiums in a row, if you ignore the sprint race, because who looks at the sprint race? Actually, to be fair, it's still 2 podiums in a row no matter what. Yeah. So, 2 podiums in a row. So, performing very well. She sets fastest in Sector 1. She has proved that she is quick in the wet. But now she needs to prove that she's quick in the dry as well. So, yeah. And of course, we know... Yeah, I don't know. We know who the usual suspects are going to be at the top of the table in this session. Your likes of Jarvis Coyd, Finlay Smith, Nico as well. And Poulet, of course. Charlotte slides there through Pouon. As Night Owl's now left the session. The Sauber team just deciding not to not to be in a session. Cure's left the session as well. It's very strange couple minutes here. Yeah, nice. We got a couple issues with the online services because they are pony. We know this. As Charlotte now coming through what I believe is... Oh, I don't even want to butcher it. I think it's Blanchemont, but I'm not like 1000% sure. So like, we'll just say it is. Through the bus stop chicane and round towards the line. Where can she put that Red Bull cut? Well, what time can she do? It's a 43.0, so it's a good banker. As Marley there comes now towards the line, gets pipped from the first lap on the hards, does a 2.9 seconds slower. So a wee bit off at the moment, as Will Lewis there, who's been great, was great in the first session to be fair as well. Rounds up into P. I was trying to get onto Nico about 6 times. As Nico there goes up into P3, Ben there beats that lap time and beats Charlotte as well by 7 tenths. As Van der Sant there goes up into P5 now because of Vortex going up as well. We got a couple more drivers joining. As I believe now Wagner next across the line. We'll see what lap time he can do in the Ferrari. Struggled in Q1. And now rounds towards the line. It's 4 attempts down on Ben. Ben with a great first lap. As Finlay Smith goes up into P4. Napolitano starting a lap. Froome rounding the final corner. Slides round the bus stop chicane. And towards the line goes up into P8. It's a wee bit off at the moment. But so far 10 drivers have done their first laps. Is Marley going to do another one on those hards? I hope not. Don't know why you would run the hards, to be fair. But, yeah. Okay, we wanted Napolitano there. Martin, that's not my job, mate. Ask Trixie. I'm on stream duty today. That's what I love about it. Napolitano getting a beautiful slipstream there from Froome. Nice one. And about 5.5 attempts up at the moment on Marley's time. And considering most of Sector 1 is straights, that is a huge difference. As I'm sure that slipstream has helped him a little bit as well. As we head now towards Pouon. Napolitano getting through into Q2. The only Haas to do so this session. Of course, the other one didn't really have a chance to do a lap, so it's a bit unfair to say that, but hey ho, we've said it. And after that, Daniel Barker will be setting a lap. So, yeah. Jarvis Coyd still in the pits after more than half the session. So, very confusing of why he's not going out early. Napolitano is 2 seconds up on Marley at the moment. So, a huge advantage. Of course, Marley doing their lap, though, on the hard tyres and most likely weren't pushing as well. As the Haas team in desperate need of some points. They need a hero. Can Napolitano be that hero? As he rounds towards the line and he goes up into P9 ahead of Will Lewis, but just behind Kieran Froome, who gave him a slipstream as well. So, very kind. Daniel Barker has invalidated his lap. So we won't be seeing a lap from Daniel Barker. Are we seeing a lap from Marley? Oh, we're not seeing a lap from Marley because after the first sector, it was green in the first sector and sadly just runs wide there. And that wasn't very good from Marley, but hey-ho. As we'll try and watch some of the people at the moment are, you've got Andrew coming around the final corner, and you've got Poulet also coming into the bus stop. So you've kind of not really got much to go off here. As the beautiful Sauber livery getting a show off, of course, their final race in F1. The other day, very sad. That's my team as well. So we'll support Audi next year, so it's all good. But yeah, the Sauber team will change, of course, in RFC as well when they turn into Audi in whenever the next game releases. I don't even know if you can call it that because it's not really next game. You know what I mean? The update. Yeah, that's crazy. Hopefully they get an updated performance chart as well before they decide, or before the end of the year would be quite nice. But I don't think we're going to be getting that. As it's been a good lap so far from Andrew. No mistakes, no slip-ups. It comes round through Pooh on there, slams the car into the corner. It was beautifully listening to him. That was just words. I'm pretty sure none of that made sense. As currently, I don't know. Sauber joining Williams in the fight for bankruptcy at the moment. They're Sauber are doing a lot better off though, as they had a good performance last night in Div 3. So they're not as they're not. I'd say they're not as bad at the moment as the Williams team, but still, I mean, if you look at the overalls, they're doing horrid. As Andrew there has a little bit of traffic in the final corner to deal with, but luckily they got out the way as he crosses the line, and it's good enough for P5, 7 tenths away from Ben, and 3 tenths away from P2. So it's very good. Poulet decides to back out of his lap, so clearly not happy with that one. Will Lewis was actually on the hards as well, so setting finally a lap on the soft tyres, the mediums. Nice one, mate. As he, of course, as I mentioned earlier when I was talking about Sauber, Williams fighting to stay afloat this season and really do need the best performances possible from every single division. They haven't had a DNF in 4 races now. Can they continue that upward trend? I don't know, as anything can happen. Will Lewis probably being half the reason that they're in this financial trouble, costing 45 million in the end. As Will Lewis, 5 tenths up on Napolitano, who's currently down in P10. Of course, there's not much of a difference between them at the moment, but Will Lewis will improve on this lap. We have got under 5 minutes left of the session remaining. And Will Lewis coming through the bus stop chicane now to finish his lap. Invalidates on the final corner. And what would that lap time be? He comes across the line. It would have been 7 tenths clear of Napolitano. And that is a huge mistake from the Williams driver. As I believe actually Van der Sant will be next. Nope. Okay. As Jarvis Coyd finally deciding to set a lap. Better late than never. As I've mentioned on numerous occasions, the fight for pole. If you're talking about it in Div 2, you're normally talking about Jarvis Coyd in this Ferrari. Ferrari going through a bit of a weird patch at the moment. Really struggling in Div 2 and 1. Especially in Div 1. But in Div 3, they are thriving, so it's a very strange situation to be in. 1.3 seconds faster than Napolitano at the moment. So we'll be looking at... I mean, when you look at that, he should actually be P2. But he's got purple. So surely we see Jarvis Coy top the table in this second part of qualifying. As we have closing down to 3 minutes left, so people will start to think about their final runs. Jarvis Coyd misses that final apex, doesn't invalidate, goes top of the timing by 3 attempts on Ben. And not a purple fast last sector there for him. So I'm sure he won't really care. Charlotte Perkins also on a lap as well, coming round the bus stop chicane. What can she do? She's been pretty good at the moment this season as well, coming back. And she goes up into P2, a beautiful last sector, and goes just under a 10th behind Jarvis Coyd. We have got a good fight for pole with a lot of drivers here, as Finlay Smith, fastest sector 2 here. So I've said here about 20 times already, and we're in Q2. Jesus Christ. As Finlay Smith rounds through the final couple corners, his teammate also on a lap. Where can Finlay Smith go? He crosses the line. It's 3 tenths behind, messes up the last sector a little bit there, and heads up into P3. Next one will be Nico. Got an Aston Martin ahead of him. I believe that's Van der Sant on a slower lap. Nico gets fastest in sector 2 now. 3 tenths behind Jarvis Coyd though at the moment, so needs a insane final sector where Jarvis Coyd seems to be struggling a little bit more. And we'll see what Nico can do. As he's got an Aston right ahead of him, of course, trying to prep for their start of their lap. Gets in the way a little bit. So might be a bit of a disadvantage there coming round as he only goes P5. 3.5 attempts down on Jarvis Coyd. So still pretty close. When you think about it, he's about half a tenth behind his teammate. But that Aston Martin just gets in the way. That was Daniel Barker as well. Sorry, not Van der Sant. My bad. As he is actually going to be the next one to set a lap. Of course, there's a couple people that will probably do double runs, like Jarvis Coyd and Charlotte Perkins. They should do 2 runs. As Daniel Barker up in Sector 1 at the moment on Froome. Very important to try and get both Astons in that fight for in Q3. Oh dear, I need to shuffle. As there's a big spider on my wall. It's a skinny one. It's just a big skinny one, so it's not going to do any harm. As Daniel Barker comes through Pouon as fastest sector 1. Who is it going to be for? It's the inevitable. Jarvis Coyd gets fastest in sector 1. He's already a 10th ahead at the moment of Perkins, so doesn't need to do too much to... I mean, he didn't really need to do another lap, to be honest. As Daniel Barker, with a great second sector, goes about a second quicker than Froome at the moment, and this will be a great lap for him. Put him around the P6 mark. If he can link up the final sector. We are closing down on the time now, so a lot of people, those cars at the end of the, I think that's the racing ball, that's ahead of Daniel Barker at the moment, need to start getting a wriggle on, and he comes across the line, so he starts his final lap. And Daniel Barker crosses the line. Where can he go? He goes P8, bit of a slower last sector there, sorry. And he is going to be very much at risk in this session. And Nico comes into the pit. Jarvis Coyd invalid on his lap, so that fastest sector was for nothing. Ben coming round the first corner. Poulet has yet to do a lap, but it's now purple in sector 2, so I'm sure he'll get through, and that puts even more pressure on Daniel Barker. Van der Sant at the moment is in the what's it? Nice. He's at risk. Sorry, as Jarvis Coyd there, of course, comes across the line, but he had the fastest sector, so it invalidated that lap and gave him the fastest sector again. Poulet gets a valid lap, across the line, and he goes up into the top of the table, and that's a good lap for him. Next one is Van der Sant, currently sat in P11 in the drop zone, needs to get a good lap here as he rounds the final corner, goes P8. It's a good lap for him. Napolitano, can he do much? Looked like a bit of a snap out of the final corner, goes up into P10, knocks Daniel Barker out as Ben now rounds the final corner, and he's got a Mercedes who I'm sure is to pit as well. Yeah, there you go. as Ben there tops the time in by 2 tenths. Now, next across the line is going to be Vortex, who's currently P9. He crosses the line. He can only improve by about a tenth. So Andrew is invalid on his lap. Froome is improving. So can improve as Marley there goes up into P11. Froome, can he knock out Napolitano as he crosses the line? He goes P10 and just knocks out Napolitano there by 500ths of a second. And Daniel Barker, after that lap that put in P8, went down into P13. And we have our drivers that have been eliminated from this session. So Napolitano just missing out on the next part of qualifying. Marley with another Q2 exit. Daniel Barker, the Sauber of Andrew, and Will Lewis backing up the field in P15. Backing up the field. Of course, Marley has been saying that they hate the Sauber. Pretty sure for the last maybe 7 weeks. So I'm sure that the Alpine drivers will really want to just move away from this car and start to fight. And I reckon you give them a car and they'll be fine. So we now wait for the session to end. Currently, McLaren looking on the strong suit. Of course, Jarvis Coyd is as well. Charlotte Perkins putting a car up there. And Finlay Smith has been struggling so far. So we might see another race where Poulet just closes that gap in the championship again. He really does need a good couple races. So we'll have a little look at the Drivers' Championship at the moment as it is. And there is only 3 points. And Poulet is actually top of the table, apparently. Don't know when that happened. Oh, it's because Finlay Smith's thing hasn't... 1 minute. I can change this on my thing. I think it's because I entered the name wrong. Yeah, because it's Finlay. Yeah, I put Finlay. 1 minute, let me... Let's look at the driver standings now that I've finally updated it. There is 9 points between these two up front. So, a win and a P2 gains you 7 points. So, you know, just got to do that once. You're within touching distance. I mean, he's already within touching distance anyway. These two been, I wouldn't say clearly the fastest two, but they've been very good so far. Charlotte, after 2 races, is up in P7, which is kind of crazy. Van der Sar is P5. Nico is P4, I believe. Yeah. Who's going to be the first one to do a lap? It's not going to be Charlotte this time. It's going to be a Mercedes. It's going to be Nico. Nico setting the first lap of Q3. Oh, Poulet's disconnected, actually. That's interesting. Apparently Darman's in this list twice. Why have I put Darman twice? Oh, he actually is. Huh. Sorry, guys. I'll just let you guys enjoy this very, 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 very long outlap, because last time it just took forever. Looking at the constructors. At the moment, McLaren leading Mercedes. It has very much been that this season. It's been Mercedes versus McLaren across all 3 divisions, to be fair. As Ferrari are P3, but almost 100 points behind. They are 90 points behind Mercedes at the moment. With Red Bull in P4, 58 points. They're just looking pretty mid at the moment. And 9th place has 19 points. There's 20 points between 5th and 9th. And Williams in 10th with 1 point. in this division. So, yeah, it's very fun, isn't it? I've still got the eliminated drivers on, which I didn't realise. Whoops. As we get ready now for Nico to start the first lap of qualifying. Well, Q3. Yeah. Has Nico, I mean the Mercedes team in general, to be fair, both of them haven't really been in the fight at the top in the qualifying session so far. Kind of on the back foot in Q2, about 5 tenths away from pole. Well, first, shouldn't say pole. So need to pick up some time in this final qualifying session. Maybe we're just going on old tyres and just accepting whatever they had. As Nico, as I said, climbed through the championship order pretty quickly, and is now had that P2 in Britain. Will want to continue that form as he comes through No Name, gets on the curb on the outside a little bit, maybe a bit more than he'd wanted to, and throws it round Pouon. Beautifully done there, just on the limit. And so far this has been a very good lap from himself, as everyone but Poulet is out on track at the moment. A couple of people starting their laps. You see Vortex there rounding the final corner to start his lap, and a couple of people, most people are on laps. So we'll see lots of lap times rapidly come in as Nico, what benchmark can he give everybody else? It's not been lighting up the timing board. It has been a good lap, but it hasn't been, purple like we would have seen from someone like Jarvis Coyd. But maybe it's just the Mercedes and a huge slide out from the final corner. It's 23.0. That is not the best lap time. Van der Sar next across the line. Where can he go? 2 tenths behind as Charlotte crosses the line now. Tops the table by a second with a 42.0. That is a great lap from her. Sebastian Wagner is going to be not the next one across the line. It's going to be Finlay Smith first. As Poulet finally joins back, Finlay Smith can only go P2. The next one across the line will now be Wagner. No, it won't. Wagner, it won't be. Yeah, well, it will. As I think Wagner's on a slow lap. I'm not sure. As fastest sector 2 for Ben. So Ben's on a pretty good lap behind. As the racing balls there of Froome gets out of the way. As Wagner rounds the final couple corners. It's not... I wouldn't say it's a slow lap, no. As rounds towards the line. It's not been the best lap, but goes up into P3. Ben now, fastest in Sector 2. Can he do anything with that as he crosses the line? Fastest in Q2, fastest in Q3 as it stands, provisional pole position. But Jarvis Coyd is also on a lap behind. Next one across the line, though, is Vortex. Where can he put the Red Bull? Jarvis Coyd has a bunch of traffic in the second part of the... in the second sector, round Pouon, as Vortex there goes up into P3 with a purple sector 3. The Red Bull's looking very good at the moment. And the next one across the line will be Jarvis Coyd, currently valid on the lap. Purple in sector 1, how can he do in sector 3? It's about hard. He's matched Ben in sector 2. What can we see? I said sector 3 a minute ago, my bad. As we round now towards Blanchimont, I have no idea if that's actually the corner. Honestly, correct me, guys. I'm just a thick ass. As he rounds towards the bus stop chicane, what can he do? Can he finally convert one of these front rows into a win? We really want to see it. As Jarvis Coyd crosses the line, 2.5 tenths up and goes into pole position. That is a good lap from Jarvis Coyd, as always, with this guy. He knows what to do. As I can't look at the... We look at the lap. You can see in Sector 1, he gained a bit of time. In Sector 2, Ben gained that time back. But in Sector 3, 3 tenths faster. So maybe he's burning in Sector 3. And I thought he was struggling in Sector 3. Turns out I'm a muppet. Right, so, couple people coming round, just on their in-laps. We've got about 5 minutes left of the session. And we just kind of wait at the moment. As Vortex are out 5.5 tenths behind Jarvis Coyd at the moment. Jarvis Coyd versus Ben seems to be the the fight for pole at the moment, the McLaren and the Ferrari. As it so often has been, to be fair, McLaren and a Ferrari. Mercedes seeming a little bit off it at the moment. Just from the first couple laps, it seems Mercedes aren't as quick as the other cars. They just seem to be struggling a little bit round here. Doma, I fully agree. This top 10 is like, that's the most normal top 10 you will see. Froome getting in with the racing balls is like the only one that's like, oh, maybe not. But like, that is literally like the most normal top 10 we've had, I think, in this season. Okay, Beanie, that's fair enough. I didn't know. I don't. I drove the Mercedes here actually in GPR, and it wasn't too bad. Did I drive it? No, I've got that next. I've got that on Tuesday. Oh, and you're telling me that it's a bad track for Mercedes. Well, now I feel stupid. Speaking of him, we've got about 4 minutes left, and he comes out. Oh, sorry. My bad. I just decided to choke. As Finlay Smith and Nico coming out earliest of the bunch. Poulet yet to do a lap, of course, in the McLaren. So he will have no banker, nothing to judge against. So he has to just push as hard as he can and get the best lap time possible. That is the most Will Buxton quote I've ever said in my life. As the two Mercedes... Oh, you can't do that. Oh, that's been on the whole time. Didn't know that. As Finlay Smith currently 6.5 tenths down on Jarvis Coyd. Once he finishes this first lap, he has another lap in reserves if he invalidates this first run. As we see a couple people coming out, Finlay Smith might get a little bit of traffic if those two cars that are currently hit, which is Froome and Vortex, don't come out quickly. And now I think he should be okay, as they've decided to stay in the pits for a bit longer than possible. Froome deciding not to even head out at the moment is very strange. As Finlay Smith now starts his potentially final lap of Q3. Needs a good lap here. Currently sat P5. Poulet yet to do a lap, but will do one, so definitely needs to do it. Vortex has missed the pit time, so will not do another lap. Froome did make it in the end, so he will do a lap. So Vortex not doing a lap is very strange for the Red Bull team. But let's see how Finlay Smith's first sector compares. He's about 2.5 tenths down in the first sector alone. It's definitely clear to see that Mercedes is struggling here. Comparing to Jarvis Coyd. As I'll check on Nico after Finlay Smith has finished his lap. As it just seems like the Mercedes hasn't been as top form as they have been in the previous races. Merc maybe starting to stumble here a little bit. Finlay Smith maybe letting the championship get ahead of him, get to the best of him, as we head to the middle part of the season. Who knows? Who knows? Anything's possible, as that is a beautiful second sector. Yeah, definitely running a more downforce setup, like Rio says there. Because that second sector, purple, Wagner now sets the fastest sector 1. So finally putting a good time, out there, as Finlay Smith was about 1.5 tenths down as we headed into the second sector. As we headed into the final sector, What can he do as this will be his final lap? Where can he put his Mercedes? It's only good enough for P4. So slow for Finlay Smith with a couple people, of course, on really good laps. One of those maybe potentially being his teammate, who could beat him as he crosses the line. Only good enough for P6. Look at the Mercedes really struggling here. That is a poor position for them at the moment. Sebastian Wagner next will be next across the line. 2.5 tenths down on his teammate at the moment. Will put him around second place. which would be great for the Ferrari. But we'll see what they can do in this final sector. If they're suited more for the straight line speed, I'm sure that Jarvis Coyd is suited for the straight line speed as he sets the fastest second sector. So the two Ferraris coming out of Sector 1 and Sector 2 nailed down. Wagner, what can he do as he crosses the line? It's good enough for P4, moves Finlay Smith down. Van der Sant there crosses the line. He's only good enough for P8, which is no surprise. Jarvis Coyd next across the line. Poulet beats him in Sector 2. Jarvis Coyd, the quali merchant himself, crosses the line. He improves his lap by a couple tenths. Where can Ben improve to? 5 tenths down at the moment. It's no purple sectors for him. He crosses the line. It's 4 tenths down, but improves on his lap a little bit. Poulet, his only lap in qualifying, fastest in Sector 2. We're just going to watch him. He can only go P2 there. Charlotte Perkins will be next across the line. She's currently 6 tenths down on Jarvis Coyd. Only improves by a little bit. So stays P4. So Jarvis Coyd there takes pole position for the Belgian Grand Prix, and I believe Nico's not on a lap. No, he's not. So Jarvis Coyd, another pole position for him. And can this be the day? Can this be the day that we see Jarvis win? We all want this, bro. We all want a Jarvis win. I don't think McLaren do, and I don't think Mercedes do. Red Bull probably don't even care. Actually, this is Red Bull's biggest competition, so yes, they care. As Froome didn't set a lap in the end, and, well, the two McLarens looking very good at the moment. And we'll compare that lap. Yep, you can see that last sector, Jarvis Coyd gained so much. I definitely do think that he is running a very low downforce setup, which you should be doing on this game. Like, it is not unnormal to do that. But yep, there we go, finally, as we have finished qualifying. Jarvis Coyd in the front row seat again, on the front row. Can this be the day that we see him finally win a race? The sectors there split beautifully between 3 different drivers, but the Ferrari's looking very, very good here. As last night in Div 3, they had a 1-2 finish. Can we see another one? Can Wagner gain from P5? I mean, he's been on pace with everyone. Seems a tiny bit quicker than Finlay Smith, but when you look at the gaps there, it's very close. But the straight line speed of the... Oh, okay, there's now an ad. Yep, we'll see what can happen. It's going to be an interesting race. Yay! The ad break's done. Ugh. Go away. Okay, we are starting on there. Nice. I don't set them. It's Mons that does it. Mons does the ad breaks. I just hate it. I'm pretty sure it's Mons because I don't think that they would time it that well. That literally as we finished quali, there's an ad break, and as we finished Q1, there was 7. So that now the race there'll be nothing. So Doma's just like on hate watch for Mons. Imagine like, oh, and Jarvis Coy goes for a move into turn 1, and we just get an ad break. What has happened? We need to know. Right, Beanie, that's not a flex, fella. You guys shouldn't. You shouldn't sub unless you've got like a free one. I don't even know. Just don't spend money on us, guys. I will put it all on black, and if it doubles, I'll do it again. And if it doubles to enough, then I will invest it into RFC. But we have to gamble it. Yeah. Any money made will be gambled. I don't actually have access to the money, guys. It's not me. Mons has it, so I can't even do anything if I wanted to. Right, guys, let's see. What tyres are we looking at for the start? So, a pretty mixed bag between the hards and the mediums. Definitely more predominantly mediums. I'm going to really... Jarvis Coyne has left the session! This guy cannot catch a break. He actually... Oh, Trixie will invite him. But, oh, please, 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 somebody free this guy from this god-awful... This is, I think, the third time he is disconnected from a formation lap. Coyd is... He's joined back, but he's going to miss Turn 1 and Eau Rouge. He might join at, like, Radion. Probably just down the straight, though. So he's going to miss so much, because sadly you can't... I don't think you can take control on a formation lap. I might be wrong. But this is the history of the Ferrari. Honestly, the most unlucky drivers just end up at Ferrari. And I swear to God. Yeah. Oh, that's true, Beatnik. He can't get taken out. He's safe. But I'm pretty sure the AI is set at like 40. So I'm pretty sure he's just going to get like instantly gapped. Oh, you see Poulet leading the line now. Oh, we are ready for, I believe, 22 laps of fun. Surely, guys. Surely this could be fun. As Poulet rounds the final corner, we're going to quickly check on what I believe is... I've just tried to do the timer, and as a matter of fact, that doesn't work. I don't have time to change his name. He joined in quali, so don't have enough time. Apparently, it's a 2-stop. It is not. It is a 1-stop, and it should be a 1-stop for everybody. And I hope anyone hearing me is hearing that it's a 1-stop, not a 17 or like a 2. It's not a 2. You can get away with it though. So it's not. Look at that positioning from the Alpine of Van der Heide at the back. All right, as we get ready now for the lights, as the glitchy lights are coming on. Nice. We're underway, and Jarvis Coyne's car hasn't moved. Jarvis Coyne's car hasn't moved. You can't make it up. Oh, and it's been pretty neat and tidy into turn 1. Poulet, I believe. Oh, who's that in P1 now? I don't even know. I'm so. Oh man, virtual safety car already. Poulet holds on to the lead. Oh, mate. No, you actually can't make it up. This is crazy. Jarvis Coyne is the most unlucky driver that we have. He's so unlucky. Pole position, front row start again, but this time he gets disqualified because of the game being bad. Oh, it's the Ferrari curse is crazy, and now and now everything relies on Wagner's shoulders. It's a good thing that Ferrari aren't in a constructors fight with anyone this season. It's a really, really good thing. As Ben will look to hold up the pack a little bit for his teammate. He has now got... Finlay Smith is now up to P3. So Finlay Smith had a great start. I was kind of looking at the Ferrari a bit too much. As Froome gets a drive-through for speeding under VSC. As the VSC is now ending. And, this is What a start to this session, as it's another drive-through for speeding under the VSC. Fourth Froome. No one else gets one. It's just him. Finlay Smith already getting past Ben. Down the inside. It's turned to the outside, sorry. As he holds it round Blanchimont. Can he make it into the bus stop? He's ahead at the moment. Poulet very much under pressure as Finlay Smith pulls to the outside. Ben now pressurising Finlay Smith. This is crazy. As Ben comes into the pits, I believe he got a drive-through penalty there, which is why it shows a 0. Didn't see that one because it got replaced by Froome's. As now, Ben, unfortunate start for him, for the McLaren, everyone making mistakes and getting unlucky, as Finlay Smith's got a really good run, I reckon, but Charlotte, is down the inside. Can she make it into Eau Rouge? Backs out on the move on Napolitano, but there, all the other Red Bull getting overtaken, as Froome gets a 10-second and retires. Yeah, nice one. Nico in the pits as well. Jesus Christ, what is going on? As Finlay Smith pulls to the outside, makes the move as well, and is now taken the lead of the race away from his championship rival. Sorry, this is an absolutely insane start, as Andrew has actually disconnected at some point and has now joined back. Don't know when he left. Froome leaves out of frustration. I mean, get a grip, fella. That's why he doesn't get a seat. As Van der Heide, side by side, a little bit of contact with Vortex, who is struggling at the moment in P10, needs to get a hurry on, as there's starting to be a gap form between the top 2 and Wagner. Wagner's just sticking within DRS, but he was outside of a second. As Piggy getting a bit excited there, saying odd race when it's lap 2. As Andrew further behind is fighting at the moment with Cure, who is also not in. This is, oh my god, this is carnage. Disconnect Central. Napolitano, I said about needing a good race. Well, he's up into P4 at the moment, but he has Charlotte Perkins breathing down his neck. He needs a good exit, but Charlotte is all over the back of him. Going to pull to the left, their left-hand side. Going to pull to the side. Are we going to see a move? No. Charlotte backs out. Has to wait until the next part into La Source, but doesn't get the move, doesn't get a great exit, is actually under pressure a little bit from behind, pulls a little bit to the inside, just showing that he's there. Will Lewis retires, and that's on track as well. In the wall, look, you can see the Strachan Williams there across the track. That is really horrid for Williams, and we have a safety car early on lap 3. What a chaotic race this has been so far. This has been insane. As a Williams out of the race, Jarvis Coyd out and Froome out. And, I mean, I'm still trying to understand what's gone on. Finlay Smith will not be happy to see this safety car, but his teammate definitely will be in P17. Okay, let's have a little look at the winners and losers so far. Napolitano with a great start at the moment, up 7 places. Finlay Smith up 5. That is... Ugh. Dear me. But 5 places lost, again, for him. Big losers is Ben after that drive-through, which has cost him dearly, but luckily he's kind of been brought back into the race. As 8 positions up for Skunker, 7 positions up for Daniel Barker, 12 positions up for Van der Heide, but he has a 3 second. So there's a couple big winners. And Poulet, still in P2. And we'll wait and see. Oh, this is so long, and this can be like 3 laps. So, yeah, the whole field's pretty bunched up, to be fair. So we should be getting underway either next lap or the lap after. Will we see any of the top guys pit? I think it's a bit too early to see them pit. Hards to the end is a crazy shout. Finlay Smith comes into the pit. Poulet follows in him. Wagner on the hard tyres stays out. We've got a lot of pitters coming in there. The 2 Astons are going to go up. Napolitano pits. Charlotte pits. You've got a lot of them, and the 2 Astons are now 2nd and 3rd. What an unbelievable start. Of course, all the hard runners kind of stayed out as what is going on in the pits. Let's have a little look, see if there's any switch arounds as the other Williams of Skunker comes in. His teammate calls the safety car. I don't think the hards can go all the way, so that is a very risky strategy from the likes of those, but The good thing for them is that I mean, they got a free stop, and if they don't go to the end, Poulet has also pit. If you're Finlay Smith, Poulet has also pit. So now you kind of think, my teammate, my rival, is on the same strategy as me. So no matter what happens, they're on the same strat. They can both go to the end. They can both pit. And this does lead Wagner to stay ahead. Yeah, I'm looking for the disconnect as well. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see if the hard tyres can go that long. As I reckon the better teams, maybe the top four, will be able to go the distance on those hards if they're good. McLaren is very good on tyre wear, so they might be okay. We'll kind of see what the percentage is like. I mean, if we look now, they're on 0. Oh, that's not really useful, is it? But Nico went on them on lap 1, and they're on 10%. So, and we've been on the safety car, so it's difficult. It's difficult. I reckon it'll be a very interesting race for strategy. But hopefully we come in at the end of this lap. But I very much doubt that we will. As no notey at the moment saying about it, and I think we have to do at least one racing laps, one lap, sorry. So I've got a feeling we're going round again. I've had an incident here once where someone backed up, and then went, but the safety car was still coming into the final corner, so they got auto slowed because they went too early. We didn't. And I pile drived into the back of 3 different cars. It was great. Hopefully we won't see that here because people were a lot stupider like a couple years ago, so they weren't as smart. It's currently the only person with a penalty, Van der Heide. Let's have a little looky at some of these stuff. I mean, you've got like Marley's up into P4 now. Vortex up into P5. What's this? Carstrom or something? I really think I butchered that. Carstrop, I believe. It's like Carstrop. Making up from 20th place to P6 in all of that. However, has Finlay Smith right behind him. So, yeah, we might have a bit of an issue. Let's have a little look, make sure that no one's like disconnected at all. Ooh, Cure still not in the lobby. Oh, I've got a bit of a cold coming on, but when am I not ill? Yeah, I mean, I'd like to thank you guys for all your support over the last season, including like the half of last season. It's been great. The Twitch numbers have been getting better, so I'd like to thank you all for just watching these streams, especially Div 2 because I do those, so like respect. Last season I hated this, but this season it's not too bad. It was the most boring game I've ever watched in my life, Vortex. Can't lie, mate. Yep. Safety car is in this lap. Yippee. Alright, so the first safety car is out of the way. Are we going to get another one in this session? That would spice up the strategies. As the 2 Astons side by siding it. Surely Wagner can time them well and get away from the 2 Astons. He won't have to do much. He's got a good amount of leeway to, the likes of the cars who pit, like Finlay Smith and Poulet, that he can kind of, yep. And let's see, has Wagner gone? Wagner's gone now, as we head now towards the bus stop, and we are back racing again. Of course, no overtaking until we pass the start-finish, so it's very good from Wagner. Runs a little bit deep there, so it's really set up Van der Saan into the first corner as we have apparently another safety car instantly, which was quite funny. But no, we don't. As Finlay Smith has already made the move up into P6. As he now pressurizes Vortex as further back, there's a huge gap. As Poulet almost ending up in the wall there. Maybe a bit of contact with the other Haas car. As Vortex now trying to go around the outside of Marley into Radion. Can't go side by side there, mate. As we now head down towards a corner. As Vortex is very much under threat at the moment from Finlay Smith. Finlay Smith biding his time this time. Vortex trying to go side by side with Marley. Gets a little bit of contact. Finlay Smith tries to hold it round the outside. Is he going to make the move stick? He's on the better tyres. Vortex is going to hold him. As it's a long corner here. Very easy to make contact. And Finlay Smith still holding it round the outside. And it turns it to the inside into No Name. And he goes up into P5. That's definitely cost him a lot of time as Vortex trying to go back at him, but can't that time around. And Finlay Smith up into P5 as Vortex runs a little bit wide at Puon, just for good measure. And at the moment, Wagner is not gaining on the two Astons behind him. He's very much under threat, as these top three have really pulled a gap away from Marley, who is on the hard tyres, and at the moment under threat from Finlay Smith, who we will watch now, as Poulet will look to try and get past Vortex as quick as possible. Not burning battery this time. We'll wait until the main straight. Vortex definitely saving battery as Poulet pulls to the inside. Are we going to see a move into bus stop? No. Vortex goes for a late move though. No, he doesn't. It looked like he went for a very late move. But he doesn't, as DRS is finally enabled. It's a 2.4 second gap now. So it's a very big, as Vortex tries to cover off Poulet. He can't quite do it, and down the inside into Lesor's. A little bit of contact. Oh, and they've locked wheels, and Vortex is round. Wing damage as well for Vortex. And the Red Bull is now stuck in the gravel. Spins out and is now 15th place after that contact with Poulet. And I'm not really sure whose fault that was. I think that was a little bit of wheel locking. But up front, Van der Sar very close. I thought he was going to make a move on Wagner, who seems very much out of his depths as Finlay Smith there heads up into P4. Marley making short work of that. The two Astons need to work together. They have the chance at a great result here, but they will see behind that they have Finlay Smith, who's pit, right behind them. So they need to get past Wagner as quick as possible. Jarvis, you're in the chat. We love you, Jarvis. You're a winner in our hearts. Oh, I feel really bad. As the two Astons, constant pressure on... Sorry, I got a message. As currently, the gap behind to Finlay Smith has gone down by about 0.5 already. And... it's very much looking like Wagner's kind of slowing these Astons down, and they really want to try and get past as quick as possible. Looking at them both together is so funny, knowing that they are fighting at the moment for the net race lead. Well, it's not really the net race lead, it is the race lead. As we head now on to lap 8. How are we almost halfway through this race already? That's crazy. As Napolitano behind Marley is giving a little pressure. You can see behind there. We'll try and tune into that. But we're also trying to keep on board with this fight for the lead, because I believe that Van der Sar here could make a move on Wagner into... oh my god, I do know it's like Lecombs, I think. As Van der Sar burning a little bit of ERS, just can't make the move. As Napolitano there makes a move down the inside into Lecombs, I believe. Oh, Marley tries to hold it, but just can't, and has to see position down into P6. Poulet really struggling at the moment after that contact with Vortex, and really needs to get past these slower drivers who haven't pit yet. As we have a little look at the pit stops, Napolitano is actually one of them that has pit. But we want to get past them. Mainly Marley, basically. We want to get past Marley. As we'll have a little look at the tyre wear situation at the moment. Can they do the distance? You've got 10% on Finlay Smith, 10. It's looking very much like 10s. Nico pit early, so yeah, around 10s. And we've done about maybe 4 racing laps. They might be okay. It will all come down. Poulet looking very much like he can get past Marley here. Easily pulls out. It's not even DRS straight. And before the corner, Poulet is up into P6. Wagner's pulled a little bit away. Marley's actually putting a little bit of pressure on Poulet here. Into the bus stop chicane. Sends it down the inside. They're side by side. A little bit of contact. Another driver has half spun from, has spun, we'll call it, after contact with Poulet. Poulet getting very unlucky here to having contact with so many drivers. Lucky not to lose a wing. And Marley there has to accept the position. Poulet is 2 seconds, though, down the road from Napolitano. So really lost a lot of time with fighting Vortex and Marley. As we look now down the straight, Marley will want to have a go, but I don't think we'll make the move as further back. Andrew has not joined. Cure has not joined. As William comes into the pits to serve a penalty, I believe. I don't even know. As Ben now, who I actually forgot was in the race, sets the fastest lap and is charging down Charlotte, who's currently sat in P8, just kind of chilling about. Red Bull not had the greatest first couple laps. And Ben will want to get past Charlotte as quick as possible. Will want to try and gain back up to Marley and his teammate, who's been gaining on Napolitano as well. Finlay Smith's got into the fight for the lead as well. We have a little train going on from first to almost 5th place. So these guys will also want to try and gain a bit of time. And I'm sure that Van der Sant and Barker's tyres will be decreasing a little bit. Now, are we going to see a move from Ben in through Blanchemont? I don't think so. He's not far enough, or not close enough, sorry. But looking up, Finlay Smith making a move on Barker. Makes the move into bus stop. And he is up into P3. And Barker actually pits as well. So that's the first of the ones that didn't pit under safety car. And that's what we have to remember as well, is that, you know, Wagner may be leading and he may go down to around like P13, P14, but he still could come back into the race because of the pit stop situation. So we'll head to Poulet. Suddenly this gap has kind of extended a little bit between some of the drivers. Poulet really the only one that could put some pressure. Actually, we're going to probably switch because he's 8 tenths behind. Ben is 2 tenths behind Charlotte. Is he going to be able to make the move? I don't think so. Charlotte using her Goblin wings to advantage and getting the fastest Sector 1 as well. No, it's Ben. Oh, okay. I thought it was Charlotte because she runs awful wings. As these two have both gained a little bit up to Marley as well, who's been struggling on those hard tyres. Hasn't pit as well, so will be very much wanting to get off of those hard tyres anytime soon. As Van der Heide, still the only person with penalties, but he's got 6 at the moment. So it's interesting to see that actually the drivers are being very consistent and staying on the track, which is good. Yeah, nice one, mate. Skunky gets a 3-second as I say that. Oh dear. At the moment, Napolitano is actually on for a potential Haas podium, which will be crazy. He's been showing some poor form over the last couple of races. Be interesting if he can get back up into that place. However, Poulet is still, right behind him. As we watch on with Charlotte, who is closing down ever so slightly on Marley. The gap is around 3.5 tenths. We just need something from Charlotte. She just needs that one good exit as she slides round the last corner. And she has to remember as well, she has Ben behind him as Van der Sant comes into the pit. As Charlotte will be wanting to try and get past Marley while also staying ahead of Ben. Very difficult to try and do both at the same time. Luckily, she can kind of try and get the best exit, but Ben is very much on her ass as he's basically pushed her up Eau Rouge and Radion. Charlotte pulls to the side. Ben pulls to the other side. They're 3 wide. Marley in the middle. Charlotte gets the move. Ben having to hold it round the outside. A little bit of contact. Another Marley versus McLaren moment. And Charlotte, being the better one out of the 3 there, comes out ahead of them both and up into P5. Poulet, while we were seeing that, went up into P3. Wagner has a 2.3 second gap at the moment. definitely holding it out pretty well so far. As at the back of this little train that we just watched, it's now Night Owl's turn to have a go at Marley. Night Owl has currently not pit. Has currently pit, sorry, I mean. My bad, my bad. As Marley and Wagner are the only ones in the top 10 that haven't pit yet. And along with Vortex, if you go to the top 11. As we are now at the midway through this race. And we just need to see what's next, really. I think Ben might be able to make a move on Charlotte down the straight if he gets a pretty good exit out of La Source. We'll see how that goes as he goes through the bus stop chicane right up, tucked behind Charlotte. Charlotte seems to be struggling around this final corner a little bit. Her very low wings maybe not doing very well in the corners. Maybe. Nice one, mate. As Ben in the DRS window. Nice. Tucked up behind. Can he get past Charlotte? Can he get ever closer? He had a good chance that last lap, and I really think he could have made the move as we check the ERS between the two. Nice one. I don't want to see Marley versus Ben. As Ben tries to make a move around the outside, Charlotte defends beautifully and holds the position there, and Ben will have to wait another lap. But a little snap there, goes on the gravel a little bit. That won't help her tyres at all. And if she wants to go the distance on them, she needs to make sure she takes care of them. Ben will not be taking care of them. Tucked up behind at the moment. As we're going to have to watch the other Red Bull in a minute, because he is currently tucked up behind Williams. I'm loving the phrase tucked up behind. Van der Sar is also currently P12, has pit, 2.5 seconds up on his teammate. So is very much, after the pit stops, gained a lot as Barker pit first. And Ben will look to make a move down the straight again. Napolitano has dropped back quite a lot from Poulet. And we just need, well, Charlotte is trying to gain a little bit back as Ben now sits in the slipstream. They've both got a lot of ERS to burn. Charlotte will be waiting. 84% will be wanting to use that down the straight, and it's going to be pretty good. Actually, we're going to keep that. We're going to keep the graphic on. I don't use this one enough, and I asked Mons for it. As we come round out of the first corner, it is now overtake for them both. They are burning as much as they can, and they're going to burn as well as we head through Eau Rouge and Radion. They get back to medium, and now down the straight, Charlotte having the upper hand in ERS at the moment. Ben having the advantage of slipstream and DRS as well, but it's not going to be enough as he has to back out, not go for a move again, and has to settle for that position as Marley and the Sauber side by side. Night Owl turns it to the inside and makes the move. Marley trying to hold it, gets forced a little bit wide. Marley is getting bullied on the track today, and now has got Nico right behind him as well, under threat as Vortex gets past Skunker. I believe that happened last lap, so sorry if I missed it. Marley getting absolutely bullied on these tyres at the moment as Van der Sar there moves up into P11 past Skunker, who is currently struggling. And the other Aston Martin also going to try and make a move on Skunker as we head through Pouon, gets a better exit. Look at the Williams' speed, just so much slower than the Aston. Skunker trying to defend, a little bit of contact there as Skunker forcing him a little bit wide. Oh, there's contact, and Barker might be round. I think he's caught it very much close between them two, and he's lost a lot of time. That is very lucky that Barker didn't spin round more, but now he's got a lot of time to recover back up to the back where his teammate is. And yeah, nice one. I just decided I didn't want to speak. As I think that was Marley finally coming into the pits on those hard tyres. So that's an indication of when we'll see Wagner come in. Speaking of Wagner, he's actually lost the lead. Sorry. Oh, okay. He's actually gained the lead back. Nice one. yeah, kind of been focusing on everything else that didn't notice that Wagner, Smith, and Poulet are all fighting up front here. So Wagner did lose the lead to Finlay Smith. However, um, Wagner did steal it back with the DRS slipstream and the lower wings that the Ferrari seemed to be running. Of course, one Ferrari out of this session, Jarvis Coyd. Rest in peace, my goat. Jarvis's car did not start off the line. He disconnected and it didn't go. Very sad. As Finlay Smith is pushing on Wagner. Wagner's tyres will be getting very much old. I mean, they're on 50% at the moment. And he's done half the race on... Well, he's done 14 laps. So I reckon these two behind him, who are on the hard tyres at the moment, will definitely be able to go to the end of the race if they look after their tyres. Finlay Smith is more just focusing on Poulet behind, as Sebastian Wagner is going to stay out another lap, maybe give himself the best chance he can at the end of the race to salvage. He'll probably come out around P10, as Napolitano is actually into the pits now on the mediums. So he went for a different strategy than these guys who all pit onto the hards. He actually he pit onto the mediums, as Wagner is definitely going to be losing the lead here. He's pretty much almost lost it as we come out of Radion. Finlay Smith pulls to the side, is able to get past. Poulet's going to try and get past him as well. Are we going to see the both of them get past? Wagner pulls back across, and Wagner goes from P1 to P3 in a matter of a straight. That is the... I mean, they were really close behind, to be fair, so there was nothing that Wagner could do there, and I reckon that is probably the time that you think, let's pit. Let's pit. As we're going to have another little look, and currently at the moment it seems like Charlotte, Finlay Smith and Poulet are looking after their tyres the best. Van der Sant there is up into P9 ahead of Napolitano, who's just pit again. So I think the Aston strategy of kind of not pitting was actually probably the worst call. And I believe that Wagner's going to be down by the two Astons as well if he pits anytime soon. But if he can stick in the DRS, he might be okay. Charlotte Perkins is also under a bit of threat from... well, what's it? I don't even know. Yeah, nice. Ben. There you go. Got there in the end. As Poulet was 5 tenths faster than Finlay Smith that last lap. I didn't want to see this angle, to be honest. It's an awful angle. As Finlay Smith still leading the race, and I don't think we'll see him go from P1 to P3 like Wagner did, because he's got a good gap between the two, and we're going to see if Finlay Smith can hold on to it at all. We're going to have a quick check of the weather, make sure it's still... There is light rain in 15 minutes. We should be okay for that one. I accidentally covered it with the ERS. Nice one, mate. As both running very similar ERS levels here, both running pretty similar gap, and that is another lap of not seeing an overtake from these. Oh, that's one lap, nice one. As Vortex heads into the pits now from P13. After that spin with Poulet, he's really been nowhere, to be honest. And that really did lose him a lot of positions, which isn't great. As Ben is all over the back, much closer than he was to Charlotte before the pit stops. Charlotte trying to hold her own against the McLaren. And I'm sure that Ben will be sick and tired of that rear wing by the end of the race, because I know for a fact that Charlotte runs absolutely demon wings. I'm not surprised if she'll be on 0-0. As Marley there, if getting beaten up by every single driver on the grid was bad enough, now has a 3-second penalty as well. Just very unlucky at the moment. Currently sat in P7, but it's got Nico, who has been nowhere since that drive-through early on. And actually, I don't know if it was a driver. I think it was just a pit. As we'll go back up for the fight for P4, which is a net P3 at the moment, because Wagner is still yet to pit. Has he come into the pits? As I've said that, no. Staying out a little bit long. I'm not sure what he's trying, to be honest, because we've got about 5 laps left. And he hasn't pit. So I really don't know what's going on. As Nico there gets past Marley, as Marley comes into the pits, and we going to see a fight for the lead. Poulet seems much closer behind than he was before. His 5 attempts, his 4 is closing very quickly and quicker and quicker. Is he going to make a lunge? He doesn't, and decides for the best of the championship, he won't go for that ascend, and he will hold position in P2. He knows he'll get past soon. He just needs to time it right. Wagner is now out of the DRS of the top 2, so he very much needs to pit anytime soon. Pit onto the soft tyres, mate, and head on. Charlotte at the moment on for a 3rd consecutive 3rd place if she finishes this race in the podium, which currently she is sat in, but under a lot of pressure from Ben. As further back there's an incident. I'm not sure who that is. Is that Marley? It's not Marley again, I swear to God. I think it might have been Skunker having a little incident as well. There's a couple people further back pitting in. No, they're not. They are. Didn't even see them on the map. As Van der Heide and William are so far behind, and Andrew and Kure have disconnected anyway, so they will be disqualified from this race. Now, this is the closest that Ben has been. Marley gets past Skunker, and Ben is all over the back of Charlotte. Are we going to finally see an overtake from Ben? He's been stuck behind Charlotte for ages. Has a little glitch there. He comes around the final corner, and that's actually lost him a bit of time. I'm not sure if he actually lost him time, of course. And Ben now 8 attempts behind. He's lost a bit of time in that little part of Sector 1 and Sector 3. Vortex now set him fastest Sector 2. That'll be good for Wagner. Wagner is 2.4 seconds behind now, and only 4 seconds ahead of these two here who are fighting. This is a silly strategy from him. Poulet as well, again, could not get past. This is a weird... I don't know if he's hoping for a safety car. I guess that's what he's doing. But this ain't no crash gate, mate. There is no teammate that can crash for you. As these two up front starting to lap people. They're lapping Andrew, who is disconnected anyway, so it doesn't matter. As the top 2, the championship top 2 as well, have been... I mean, it was a smarter strategy to pit onto the hards under the safety car. We'll have a little look at the tyre wear, see how they're doing. And currently, they're just hitting 50%, and we've got about 4 laps left to go. So they should be okay. They should make it to the distance. You know, the couple that are on like 50, Nico might struggle on 61%. He's been on those tyres for most of the race, I'm pretty sure. So I think since lap 1, which does prove how long they can go. As there was rain predicted in 15 minutes. I really don't think that is the case now, as we have a little look at the weather forecast again. And it looks like it's going to be 10 minutes now. So we have a bit of time in hand. So there shouldn't be any drops of rain this race. Which that would have made the last lap very interesting if it just started to absolutely howl it down. As we watch on board with Ben, who has been behind Charlotte for the majority of the race. Really does just need something. Wagner still yet to pit in P3. Ben, we are getting spots of rain. We're getting spots of rain. You can see it on the screen there. It is starting to rain. The forecast says it's not for 10 more minutes, but it has a 30% chance now. It kind of looks like it's raining, and I wouldn't be surprised if Wagner knew that it would rain all along and was holding out until the final couple laps to pit onto the inters. It really does depend on how the tyres react and how quickly it gets wet. We are on lap 19 out of 22, so there is still, still plenty of time. We were actually watching Poulet that whole time, by the way. Thought we were watching Ben. This is interesting, to say the least. If we see the rain suddenly take into effect, that could change the race fully. We'll look at the onboard again, and you can see the drops are coming down. Currently, doesn't look like they're fighting much. We're gonna stick to this angle, thanks. And Poulet very much all over the back of Finlay Smith. He's going to try and hold it down the inside. Can't make the move. Locks up a little bit. And the rain really does look like it's picked up a little bit. Poulet is coming into the pits. Same with Wagner. And actually, look at the spray. You can see a little bit of spray maybe coming off the cars. And it seems like it's got wet very quickly. Poulet coming in straight away is insane. Wagner completing his pit stop and going on to the inters. I'm not sure if that was the best call, as that's left Finlay Smith to now. But there was a little bit of spray, I thought. But I think these guys might... Oh, this... I did say we've got 3 laps remaining now. I don't know if that's the strat. We'll see as Poulet gets overtaken there. He's going to have to try and hold it. But nope, Van D, nice. It's actually Nico. I thought it was an Aston, to be honest. And he's behind a Sauber as well, so... He's not in the best position at the moment. And by the looks of it, it doesn't seem like this was the best call, as Wagner is also struggling a little bit. I mean, he had to pull the trigger at some point. This is an insane turnaround of what could have been an easy Poulet second place. He was fighting Finlay Smith as well. Decided to go against Finlay Smith, and now he's stuck in P6 behind his rival's teammate, if anything. So Nico, if he plays the team game, will be defending as much as he can. I mean, it doesn't seem like it was the smart move to pit onto Inters, to be honest, because with 3 laps left, he is not going to gain all the way back up to that leader unless the rain suddenly hits and it goes unbearably, like, you know, yeah, it's alright. I don't think it's going to be wet enough. That is very much the bad strategy, maybe, but Wagner had to pit no matter what. So he had to. As Poulet there sends it down the inside and further back. Vortex is round. I'm pretty sure he reset to track. But I can't prove it. As Nico, as I said, is fighting Poulet down towards turn 1. Not letting him pass that easily. As Poulet has the inside line. It's getting a little bit wetter maybe for everyone else. But these 2 Inters guys are not gaining enough that they're going to exactly have a great finish. Night Owl is up to P4. This guy needs to be moved. As I thought that after the last race, but hey ho, here we are. Has Poulet under a bit of threat from Nico. Nico not going for the move that time. And Night Owl very lucky that he had DRS from his lapped teammate as the AI car gets out of the way. And we are heading into the final 2 laps now. And it does seem like Poulet really did throw away a lot of points here. He had the chance to easily finish second and come home. He didn't need to risk pitting onto the Inters. He didn't need to do that. Whereas Wagner kind of did because he had to pit anyway. So it's a strange strategy from the McLaren team. And it's resulted in a lot of lost points for Poulet in the championship. And, I mean, it's always a risky strategy to do stuff like that, but it does very much seem like the wrong strat, as Night Owl is up 12 positions in the Sauber, might I add. As now he's being overtaken by Poulet, doesn't put on much of a fight, and he's going to try maybe get the move into bus stop. I don't think so, as we head on to the final lap now. And Poulet up into P4. It's very much damage limitation now. And, I mean, if this was actual McLaren, well, I would see Ben falling behind Poulet for the championship. Because Papaya rules, mate. Stupid. As Poulet does seem like the faster car now. It does seem like maybe now is a little bit better for the Inters, as he's completely gapped Night Owl and is slowly, but it's very tight, closing on his teammate. We'll see how Wagner does as he pulls down the straight in Nico's DRS. Nico on extremely worn tyres and Wagner on the Inters, so it's very much a different playing field totally, as they head round and can't make the move. Wagner's going to have to hold behind. Is he going to make a last-minute lunge? He doesn't. He decides to hold it back. He can't get close enough to Nico. Suddenly, Nico's run a little bit wide, though. And now into No Name. They're side by side. Wagner on the outside. Nico, little bit of contact. Slide to the side of the circuit. And that lost him about 2 places as well. One to Wagner, one to Van der Sar. But we will quickly hop on to the guy who has led the majority of this race. He's done very well to not pit in for the Inters, or that would have gifted some people a lot of points. It started to rain. Poulet was all over the back of him. It would have been interesting to see what had happened if he had stayed out and fought Finlay Smith. But Finlay Smith extends his championship lead, comes across the line, and he's going to win in Belgium, taking another win for the Mercedes team. Next across the line is going to be Charlotte. It's 3 podiums in a row. Can't make it 3 third places. Makes it another podium, though. And Ben there comes round. He slows down and gives the place to Poulet. Poulet gets 3rd place. Ben gets 4th. That is crazy. As Wagner on the final corner gets P5. P6 for Night Owl, P7 for Van der Sar, P8 for Napolitano, and P9 for Nico there. Marley, after getting bullied pretty much the entire race, with a 3-second will lose the position to Barker, who comes across the line in P10 in the end. And we now watch Vortex as he's had a horrid race. But the McLaren's switching it up. You saw Ben instantly duck over to the left. That is crazy. We've got team orders already, but Finlay Smith extends his championship lead by 9 more points. He now makes the gap 18 points. So, I mean, Poulet would have wanted it the other way around, but yeah, that was Finlay Smith's race. In domination, really, but Jesus Christ, seeing a McLaren swap positions. Get a grip. Get a grip. Let's have a little look, actually, can we? We can't now. That's sad. As Finlay Smith celebrating his much-deserved win there. Oh, dear. What did you see? Giving it large. Charlotte on the podium as well, followed by Poulet. Dear. It's yeah. Oh dear. As we don't have particles on, so I'm not going to bother. As they are driver of the day Night Owl, because he's clearly in the wrong division. That's the 2nd race in a row now where I've said this, so he is moving. But there you are. Finlay Smith takes the win. Charlotte getting a lovely P2 for Red Bull. And Poulet getting P3 on the final corner to Ben. Get a grip. As we tune down the order a little bit. With, of course, the DNFs. Williams getting a DNF for the first time in 4 races. They are going to be very much at risk of bankruptcy. With Froome retiring after getting a drive-through. And Jarvis Coyd getting pole and disconnecting from the formation lap, and then the game just disqualifying him. But that, I didn't get the race director, so sorry to anyone who wants a warning removed. Tough luck, I guess. But that is the end of the session. That is the end of Div 2. I don't want to do interviews, so I'm not going to. Pretty simple, really. Yeah. I've got an exam coming up next week, which is going to be great. Next Thursday, actually, so I'll have to tell you guys how it went. So, we are now at the midpoint of the season. It's still close between Smith and Poulet, and we have another 7 rounds to find out who is going to become the Div 2 Drivers' Champion. So, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, of course, sub for more. We're live 3 days a week, showing Div 1, Div 2 and Div 3. Div 1 is tomorrow. Mons will be hosting, so that's like unreal. And I hope you guys put up with me for about 2 hours. And yeah, I'll see you guys next week. Let's go, guys.